What does a post-Messi era MLS look like? That's what we're going to discuss today. We're going to give you guys our opinions, but of course, let us know what your opinion is down below. Okay, what does the MLS look like after Messi? Will Messi, when he leaves inevitably, which could be the next year or two, which will be the next year or two, will the MLS be in a better state, you think, than when he got here, or will him leaving just diminish all of his progress that was made? Because I have an opinion on both, but I want to know what you guys think.
I think it's well known on the channel. I'm an anti-MLS. I think all of us are to a degree. But, me and going to the extreme. So, I'm a full-time MLS hater.
That's crazy.
And with the whole bringing Messi brought in probably a decent amount of revenue compared to, prior seasons. I'm not going to say, I say decent amount probably because I don't think it's been to the extent they were hoping. Especially with Apple TV subscriptions and all that jazz, especially with the amount of sales that goes on with Apple TV subscriptions to watch the MLS season pass and all that jazz, and watching like Leagues Cup, and it's just a pain in the ass on all that jazz. But I digress. And the rise of the USL Championship with their promotion relegation, a lot of buzz coming from there. Honestly, I'm gonna somehow bring the USL into this one, but I see the USL gaining traction from an MLS Messi MLS free domain thing going on. I really do. Just because, I think less people are going to watch, obviously, especially around the world. That viewership's going to go down. I think, wasn't like the past MLS final was like low in viewership anyways?
Very low.
So, I mean, it's already going downhill. Messi's still in. And the only way they get views is if Messi goes has longevity in these tournaments that, the MLS have. And unfortunately, it seems like Inter Miami only can go so far, and Messi is always injured nowadays. So yeah, I see it just going downhill or reaching another plateau of just mediocrity. And I love to see it because I think the USL can get some really big traction from this and possibly take over as the number one footballing entity. But that's just me in my
very quick to say that. It'd be a very quick process for them to do so. I will say before anybody else speaks, yes, we don't like the MLS as a league. We like them as teams. We got slack last time for saying we don't like the MLS, but because I was wearing the LAFC jersey, people were like, well, what the fuck? With most leagues around the world, no one gives a fuck about the league because the league is what screws everybody else over. We like the clubs. We're very big fans of the clubs. Just want to put that out there. Diego, your opinion?
Except San Jose. Fuck San Jose. You know how it is.
I meant more the club you support, but yes, that one.
Yeah, sorry. Had to get that in there.
Diego, your opinion. What does the MLS look like after Messi leaves?
I mean, okay, I think this might be a bit of a unpopular take, but I do feel like that. Don't get me wrong. Of course, Messi brings in a lot of the revenue is undoubtedly extremely high, and the viewership on Messi specific games is extremely high. With that being said, I don't actually think the viewership is the Messi viewership is impacting other games that much. Why would they? You watch Messi, and then if he's the other however many games are being played that day, you're not going to see them. And also, unfortunately, MLS games tend to happen almost at the exact same time. They have maybe 2 or 3 in the earlier, and then they have 4 at 6 or whatever. So it's one of those where it doesn't even let you kind of watch, every single game. Like the Prem kind of allows you to watch, most of the games, unless it's Boxing Day or whatever. But you can at least back to back watch 3 games in the morning.
That's true.
For Prem.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, my point is, yes, Messi leaving hurts a lot. But in the same, and I know it's not the same, but in the same realm that you had David Beckham come in, however many years ago, and he was huge. I mean, that was a huge thing at the time. LA, big team, Beckham, big personality, big star. And he also, let's be honest, got into the American media way better than Messi has, just because Beckham has that personality and has that ability to do that. And he still isn't in our culture now. Will Messi stay there? I don't think so. I don't think he's that kind of guy to be yeah, I'm going to talk and go and talk shows and shit. No, that's not Messi. So I think Messi will leave and it'll hurt. But I think the MLS will still be around. It'll still be okay. Obviously, it does need to do stuff to boost up. I think, like we were talking about, the viewership is low. I think it needs to innovate a little bit for sure. 100%, no doubt about it. But I don't think it ruins the MLS. I don't think it kills it or anything like that. I think it'll still be around. The fans are some very passionate fans, and so they just need to innovate more. They need to get more people from outside the already big fan, the immediate fan base. but I don't think it'll be dead. I think it'll continue just like it has with the previous stars that came and went.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting because you're right. Like, stars will have come and left, but they have big holes to fill once they leave. And yeah, David Beckham's gone. I'm sure there was a hit to Galaxy, right? No matter how many more fans are generated, like a lot of people were there for David Beckham, whatnot. But the Messi-sized hole that he's going to leave, I think is going to be way too big for the MLS to recover very quick. I'm almost worried for the league once Messi leaves. Because there's a reason why MLS is way more publicized now and way more involved in other federations' business almost, right? So like that's the Leagues Cup now, the Champions Cup, that's even maybe the Copa, Sudamerica or Libertadores, and the Club World Cup too. Obviously, MLS is here. MLS is still somewhat on the up, but I think once Messi leaves, man, it's going to be really hard to innovate it enough to get those viewers back. People are just going to stop caring. Like too many people are going to stop caring for it to be okay. And back to Andres' point, I think that's why the USL is going to be really good to step in, because people are going to want to find, to some extent, that next big thing, and that would be, the pro-rel environment nature of the USL very soon. Once Messi leaves, man, I think it's going to be bad. If I'm being really honest, it's going to be bad. Leagues Cup, let's talk about Leagues Cup. It already is really bad. Like, no one gives a fuck about the Leagues Cup. Not even Mexican teams, bro. Like, they've even said how much, like, they're not even going to try to put time aside for it anymore. Like they'll play in them, but they're not going to make it a big thing as MLS wants it to be. And nobody goes to those games anyway. The Champions Cup too. Like, yes, it is the continental competition, in the way that the Champions League is for both Asia and for Europe. But people care about that because they can also see their teams play other big teams. No one gives a fuck about that with the MLS either. No one cares if MLS is playing. If they only care if MLS is playing like America or Chivas, or maybe Pumas, or Toluca, or Pachuca. Like, only a few teams there. Only when it's against a big Mexican team or a fellow MLS team. And even then, not even many people care. The only people that do care are the Mexican fans in the USA. So once Messi leaves all that, it's going to be even worse. It's going to be so much worse, in my opinion. And yeah, again, I'm really, really scared for the MLS afterwards, because I think it's going to be a little bit of a rut afterwards. I think MLS was also hoping that Messi comes in would make other players come in too, or at least be open to the idea of it. But I wouldn't say that like the same players that were already open to it are still. And if you weren't 2 years ago, you still aren't. I don't think it even opened the pathway for foreign entities and players to want to be a part of the market at all. Okay, so which is another, I want to say which is like another reason why the MLS might be worried about it too. It just doesn't. The outlook, in my opinion, does not look good. The MLS by itself is not that entertaining of a league if you're like not already really into it. No one gives a fuck about the All-Star shit anymore. It's just MLS versus Liga MX All-Stars now. If they were still playing the likes of Real Madrid or Juve or whatever, Arsenal, that'd be cool. But now it's just Liga MX and MLS. No one gives a fuck about that. Playoffs, because there's no pro-rel, hint MLS as to how people would care. Because there's no pro-rel, no one gives a fuck, throughout the season and towards the end of the season if your team isn't in it. And then also Inter Miami, like, yeah, it's David Beckham's team, but no one's going to give a fuck about Inter Miami once Busquets, Messi, and Alba leaves. So I think, all this to say, I'm very pessimistic. It's been a very pessimistic day of recording for me. I'm very pessimistic about the MLS afterwards.
Not negative because I'm enjoying what he's saying. It's just like compared to like his usual standards, it's like very down in the dump. Is everything okay, Elijah? My God, what the hell happened there?
Week. It's been a long week, my friend.
You want to talk about it?
No, I don't need to. I'm excited though. I'm gonna watch Messi right now playing against LAFC, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. But ticket prices, big revenue for MLS ticket prices right now. And that's with Inter Miami can go to any of the teams in MLS and you can sell out the game. Whether he plays or not, whether they know he's going to play or whether they think he's going to play, you sell out the stadium with tickets of upwards of $150 plus, $200 plus dollars. Once he leaves that, who's going to give a fuck if Inter Miami goes to play, Montreal or Houston Dynamo? No one's going to give a damn. It's just going to be another useless game. No one's going to care anymore. They're going to lose even more viewership on the Apple TV, which, by the way, we should do a video maybe next week about it. The Apple TV subscription thing is already an inhibitor of MLS success. But without Messi on it, who's going to pay for it? Besides ones who are paying for it for their teams, right? Like, no one's going to care anymore. I think MLS is going to be, I think they already are worried. Just behind the scenes, they are already very worried about all of it. Saving grace this summer, though, Club World Cup could be a really big deal. Bro. Yeah, not even a saving grace, but
it's not even. I don't even think there's a whole lot of traction behind from at least from what I see on the internet. Obviously, you know, everyone has their own different algorithms and all that jazz. But like, I don't even see a whole lot promoting for it. If I'm being honest, like ticket prices are absurd. Like, yes, I know it's like its first, you know, annual first thing, not annual, but like first ever FIFA Club
Yeah,
World Cup
of
to
this
this
format.
magnitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, of this magnitude. And I don't know, I just don't get a lot of hype from it just because it's in the summer. You know, there's a lot of things happening with other leagues and stuff. And the MLS is like what? Like just kind of, this is like during the MLS season. So it's going to hit like, I think probably like a little like probably like maybe a little glimpse of what's going to happen. I don't know. It's just, I don't even think that's going to save it. I think it's going to just make it worse. Because everyone's going to forget about the MLS. And then if anyone watches it, they're going to be like, oh, what's this? And then they're going to be like, why is there games going on when there's a Club World Cup? You know what I mean? So, I don't know. It's just so weird, so bizarre. Also, I think part of the issue is MLS decided to go too money hungry. And so that's why there's these creations of all these different tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
Ever since COVID, we've had these like a bajillion tournaments that like keep changing their names. And then everyone's like, oh, what's this now? Like, I forgot Galaxy even played Tigres last night. And it was 0-0.
Yeah.
Didn't even know about that shit. I
Yeah,
didn't see.
for the
I
Champions
didn't
Cup.
see anything about that. Yeah. And I barely remembered that shit. LAFC are playing Inter Miami tonight in 30
Yeah.
minutes. Honestly, I just don't see anything changing. I think it's just going to get worse. And with the Club World Cup, I see nothing. And I think also the problem is, you know, the MLS doesn't really make a whole lot of products. Yes, you know, you have your exceptions. Every situation has an exception. And yes, the MLS have made some good, very good products. But like, there's nothing like really exciting. They're hyping up the kid from, was it Philadelphia Union? Calvin? Is that his name?
Kevin Sullivan.
Yeah, so
Kevon,
South Sullivan. My bad, G. But yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, anyone else is kind of just like, no one's really being hyped up like he is. He's already signed his contract or whatever to Man City, right?
Yeah.
So, and they're in a decline anyways, so it doesn't really. I'm just saying, but that's besides the point. I don't know. I just I'm glad it's happening because I think they need a remodel focus because they had traction. I think we were excited for the league, and then I think probably when we were talking about Messi coming to the MLS, I think we mentioned some, you know, key, you know, like not negative side effects that could occur. And I think we're now seeing them after it's kind of hit like a normalcy of having Messi in the league. And it's just going to continue to get worse, especially when he's gone. So I'm curious to see what the MLS does. If the MLS would like to reach out to us so we can give them some ideas, maybe intent promotion relegation would probably be a massive decider. I think would get some hype because, you know, the USL announced it and they got literally everybody talking about it around the world. So I mean, just saying, but you know, that's just my take on it. But I'm excited because I think USL could take major advantage of a Messi-less MLS. So I'm happy about it.
Yeah, and you know, I know someone's gonna at least think or comment if they haven't got to this point in the video. Yes, MLS had an audience before. There was hype around it before Messi got there. I think Messi almost killed all of that hype, like the positive progression that they were taking, because once he got here, it became Messi league soccer. Like nothing has been important to that point. Like without him in the finals or ends of these tournaments, now no one cares. Before, I still think people cared, but now it's like, oh, Messi, Messi's not there. Okay, why should I care anymore? Yes, the audience was there before. The same audience will still be there. But the issue is that I don't think there's going to be much growth afterwards, which I think you almost wanted from Messi being there is, you know, old viewers, new viewers because of Messi, those new viewers stay. There is no reason for those new viewers who are watching because of Messi to stay any longer once Messi's gone. And they're not doing anything else to keep them engaged, to keep them wanting to watch the MLS, especially because all those fans now are probably Inter Miami fans, and Inter Miami is going to be a shit team relatively soon once all these veterans go. Then what else is there to watch for those people? No one's going to reach that high of wanting to watch Messi in MLS. So why would they even watch? I think we're going to see the ramifications of that pretty soon. Hopefully the USL does take advantage of that because that would be freaking awesome. I think USL should. Pro Route is that new thing that could be hyped. But, you know, for MLS, I just see a little bit of a rut afterwards of no new ideas, no creativity, just going through the motions, trying to make the Leagues Cup work and this relationship with Liga MX work, which there's just no point. MLS is just trying to poach Liga MX fans and make money off them while they play MLS teams. They don't care if it's entertaining. They don't care if you won't care about a new MLS team. They just want the money. I think it's very obvious with the whole Messi thing because no one can come over here from the MLS and replicate what Messi just did, for better or for worse. But they're not.
Ronaldo. It's Ronaldo's
I don't even. We don't even know if Ronaldo can step foot in the USA because of past allegations or scandals or cases or whatever. So, like, yes, it would be huge, but
Never
I
mind.
just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. You know, apparently Ronaldo, I heard a rumor that he might sign with another club just to play in the Club World Cup. I don't know. But
Oh,
it might be a
wow.
false rumor. I'm not sure. But yeah, you've reached the highest of highs in terms of players, right? And I think that's the biggest issue is they went too high too quick. They Icarused it a little bit, way too quick. And now
They
it's going
went
to be a
all
little
in.
bit, right. Like, difference in the Premier League is obviously you have your fans, but you have these constant superstars going through the league. Youngsters, guys in their primes, legends, right? And with many other leagues too. Same with Serie A, same with Bundesliga. These top quality players who are consistently wanting to play there and are playing through there and are either bouncing off, like using it to bounce off and go to higher things, which you can keep track of. It's just not happening with the MLS, and it's nowhere close. It's nowhere close. Yeah, we have Christian Benteke. Sure, we have Dennis Bouanga. When whatever other former European players want to be a part of, they are here now. But no one's going to generate the hype anymore that Messi does, and I think it's going to be not the death of the MLS, but a very big killer for the MLS a few seasons afterwards. Once Messi leaves too, I think they got to opt out of that Apple TV deal. What a shit show! What a shit show that became, man. Like,
Sometimes I try and watch like a Galaxy game, and it tells me I don't have a subscription, and I'm like, sorry, what? I'm like, excuse me, I do. And it's always on my computer. True story. It won't let me watch certain games on my computer, but it can let me on my phone. I don't know what that's about.
Yeah,
but
I mean, that might be a hardware issue. That might be you, but like, still, what the hell?
No,
that wouldn't be an issue if it was on cable.
It just doesn't work. It says like I don't have a subscription on my computer, even though I'm logging into the same fucking subscription on my phone. So I'm just saying, like, I don't know if it's just a me thing or
what a shame. What a shame.
Sorry.
They went to Peacock or Peacock Plus or like cable again. I think there'd be way more viewers, but the fact that you price locking it, whatever. Topic for another day. If you guys want more MLS/USL/US soccer content on our channel, make sure to subscribe and like the video if you agree with us about MLS and Messi leaving it. Leave a comment down below your opinions, of course, in future videos, and hopefully see you in more. Take care.